Hi, and welcome to the YouTube channel for ACI Specialty Benefits. I'm JR, and I'm joined by ACI's Megan Hawker. How are you, Megan?
I'm doing great.
All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you kind of got involved with ACI.
Okay. Well, I spent 5 years on active duty in the Army as a medical service officer. And during that time, I did 2 deployments to Iraq. And once I left active duty, I went back to school and I began studying in marriage and family therapy and to become a therapist. And I remained in the reserves. My previous job was working at a community counseling agency, and just recently I got hired on an ACI, and just providing some insight to the military community and veterans, and it's really a great experience.
Yeah. All right, so who are we joined by here, Megan?
Okay, this is Sachi. Sachi is a 2-year-old mix. She's a part German Shepherd Husky, and she was adopted from a local shelter. And Sachi is a fantastic addition when it comes to dealing with clients.
Okay.
Because she has a very therapeutic nature about her.
So we're going to talk about pet therapy, and I read a blog that you just recently did for ACI and talking about pet therapy. And so give us a little background of kind of how you got into that and some of the benefits of it, and how you break that down.
Well, when it comes to pet therapy, animals are a great resource. They can break the ice for clients that aren't really comfortable, and they can bring people out of their shell when they're not really ready to be around others, to start expressing their emotions, or really to be around others. And animals can provide that comfort that other people can't. And one thing that animals are, especially dogs, are fantastic about reading emotions, and they're very intuitive. They watch your face, they watch everything about you, and then they tune into it and react accordingly.
Oh, very nice. Very cool. So Sachi is your personal dog. Have you used it for that purpose too, for yourself?
I have, and yes, I have. And having the dog there at the end of the day, it's wonderful to have a cheerleading squad come home at the end of the day when you have a bad day, and nobody's going to give you that same welcoming that a dog will.
Right.
And when you need to talk to somebody, a dog is always willing to listen.
Oh. Let's talk about veterans. I mean, you're obviously served as active duty, and how does this relate to veterans, and how are they using this for therapy with veterans?
Okay. Well, that's an excellent question. There's lots of different use for working with veterans. There's dogs that are specifically trained to work with veterans for issues such as PTSD and anxiety attacks. And these dogs are specifically trained, as well as the dogs that are trained to work with people that have mobility impairment. But dogs that are trained to work with individuals with PTSD are trained to notice when, for example, the veteran is going into a state where they're checking out, or that they're starting to have a flashback, and then the dog can nudge them and bring them back into awareness and that type of a thing. And so those dogs are very helpful. But as you read in the blog, you can get lots of benefits from owning a dog as a veteran without having a diagnosis per se, or without having a specially trained dog.
Okay, and is that something that people that are coming back from war, or getting out of the military, is this something that they're being presented like, hey, this might be a great idea for you, or is it some people that are, when you said people that are not diagnosed with something, or how are they finding out about this stuff?
I think the information is not very widely disseminated. I think a lot of the veteran programs are very much word of mouth, and because there isn't a formal program that says this is a great benefit for veterans, it really doesn't get out very mainstream. There are several great organizations that are partnering up with local shelters, and they work with either low cost or providing some sort of incentive to get a homeless animal matched up with a veteran. And so it's really a win-win situation, because you're providing a home for an animal, and as well as the companionship for the veteran. And there's both national organizations like Pets for Vets and Pets for Patriots, and then there's local organizations as well.
Okay, fantastic. What about just pet ownership in general for everybody?
Okay, well, there's many different benefits for owning a pet, and there's, to start with the physical benefits, there's been various studies that show that owning a pet owners typically are healthier overall, but they tend to have lower blood pressure rates, and they tend to be at a lower risk for heart attacks. Particularly if they have one heart attack, the risk of having a second one is much lower for pet owners.
Okay.
Then when it comes to mental benefits, pets are great at lowering levels of depression, lowering anxiety levels, and also decreasing the loneliness. And I think if you would have seen the reaction of the office when I brought Sachi in today, it was smiles. Everybody that saw her was really smiling and happy, and much more effective than the bowl of chocolate that I have in my office.
Yes.
So it was.
These smiles last a little bit longer versus that.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I know that's like obviously the companionship, but is there, what other reasons is that a dog is providing that much, joy or lowering blood pressure? Is there a medical reason behind it, or is it just, how people react?
It's a combination of things. Part of it is the acceptance that dogs provide. It's that unconditional love and companionship. Just touching the dog is comforting. And then overall, when you look at the daily interactions that you're going to have with a dog, when you take a dog out to walk, you're more approachable to other people than if you were just walking by yourself, and so you're more likely to interact with other people. People that have a better social network tend to have lower levels of depression and that type of thing. So they tend to interact with one another. And so to isolate things on their own is a little more difficult, but these things tend to interact. And if you're out walking your dog, you're exercising, you're going to have better physical health. And so these things tend to interact with the physical and the mental well-being. It's overall, they work together.
All right, fantastic. So check out your shelters. Would be a place to look for people that are looking into pet ownership, and obviously some amazing benefits from it. So who doesn't like having a pet around? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So thanks so much, Megan. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.